government facilitating, but then not by government alone. I think that's what we all understand today on the basis of our empirical experiences in the past, in the state, in the country, in the world. I start with this because I am delighted to see many known faces here with whom we have been interacting over the years, many who have been doing projects on their own with governmental facilitation and who are willing to do much more. And I may not know some, but definitely the purpose of this meeting is to enhance the boundary, enlarge the fold, broaden the area of the net so that many of you come within that. I know many of you have been great entrepreneurs. I can see Mr. Jivika Rao in the front, who has done exemplary work of eco-resort, health resort, namely Pragati Resort long back, and this is going from strength to strength. I see many others who have been really dotting up the state. Of course, I'm talking of the United States so far. Post bifurcation, I think a new chapter has begun, a new focus has started, and we are coming later to the Andhra Pradesh part. As all of you know, in tourism in Andhra Pradesh, we are no new entities. We mean government is no new entities in public-private partnership. If you recall, and many of you will recall, way back in 2000 to 2004-05, there have been a lot of tourism projects by private entrepreneurs successfully delivered with governmental policy backup and other inputs and all. I think time has come again now to repeat the chapter, to further enhance it and take up many more enterprising activities. In fact, you will be happy to know that the Andhra Pradesh government has included tourism in one of the 7 missions on which the CM has been talking quite often. Tourism has become a part of the service mission. The accent and the focus has come on revenue generation. Accent and focus have come on employment generation, skill upgradation, HRD development, and of course at the same time to really endow the state with a lot of new initiatives and adventures in terms of tourism. Even at the cost of repetition, I just want to remind you that even UNWTO in its document has gone on record stating that tourism is a very powerful driver for poverty alleviation, employment generation. You also know that it is an accepted statistical fact that for every 10 lakhs of investment in tourism, 78 jobs are created. For the same investment of 10 lakhs in agriculture, the corresponding figure is 43 jobs, and in agriculture, in manufacturing 43, agriculture 38. Why I mention it is that it also tremendously shows that what kind of employment can be created. The beauty of tourism, as all of you know who are handling tourism programs, projects, is that it's not only that skilled people get jobs. Tourism really gives jobs to unskilled, semi-skilled personnel, and then skill upgradation, there is no end of it, and it can go on in terms of ticketing, tour operators, guides, hospitality sector, trade, and so forth and so on. So that way all of you are really great partners in this industry, and though the end result is entertainment and fun in most of the cases, but we know that tourism personnel do hard work. When others have entertainment and all, I think relentlessly tourism personnel have to deliver day in and day out. It is one sector where there is no 10 to 5 kind of concept, and we know that that's what happens and all. Now coming back, we will be interacting with you as we go along, but coming back to the main purpose. Now if you look at the Andhra Pradesh map, the new map, it is a linear map now. It is a map along the coast, 972 kilometers of the coast, right from Srikakulam to Nellore, the Coromandel coast, which has thrown up. It was already there, always there. But after bifurcation, I think this long coastline has thrown up tremendous possibilities and focus for tourism projects along the coast, hotels, resorts, and though many may say that CRZ and all the time, but let me tell you, it is not a kind of insurmountable issue, and it is possible for our safety and our security to be away to respect the CRZ regulation and have our resorts and hotels from the legitimate line and all. Government has also so far identified these 3 cities as mega cities also for tourism, namely Visakhapatnam. Visakhapatnam has always been there as a tourism city. Maybe it was always eclipsed by Hyderabad to some extent, but now that it is on its own and all in the state, Visakhapatnam, yes, with innumerable opportunities and chances, which all those details will be shown to you by Mr. Srinivas from ILFS here. Then Vijayawada, of course, Vijayawada Guntur occupying the centrality of that linear line, and there are possibilities, and Tirupati Bassi sharing border on the other side. It doesn't mean that other cities on their own deserve less attention. Government also has the concept of smart cities, number of smart cities, and everywhere there is possibility of entertainment, tourism projects, etc. We want to expand our base now. We have identified shelf of projects which eventually you will know in all the places, but I think time has come to pay much more attention to issues of medical tourism, health resorts, medical resorts, eco environment, ecotourism, then definitely convention center. Now that Visakhapatnam, Vizag, Tirupati, these are the mega areas, there will be need for convention center with hotels. There will be need for number of amusement parks, theme parks, oceanariums, to mention a few. There may be many more. Actually, tourism is again another sector, unlike ports or unlike roads, where your framework is given. You can come up with any innovative, attractive proposal which will be a tourism proposal. We don't have to spell out all the projects that have to be done.